Good afternoon all. Today, because I put up some pictures today earlier about me trees and me layouts and stuff, and I left a question up there as if somebody would like to see a video, and somebody said yes, so I'm going to do a video. First of all, put your specs on, Phil. You need to get some wire. Now my wire comes out of leftovers from buses and drop wire and all that sort of stuff. I get heaps of it, and I usually start off with an even amount, only because that's what I like it anyway. And quite often what I thought was an even amount ends up being odd, but it doesn't matter. So you get all your wire and you pick out the bottom of the tree, which in this case is this end. Give it a few twists. This is just so it doesn't unravel on you while you're doing things. Now, I make two types of trees, and that is those with roots, which allows me to make them stand up. I'll just bend this up because then, or if I'm just going to plonk them in the layout, put a hole, dunk it in with a bit of hot glue or silicon. I use silicon on the N-gauge layout that I used to have. So they're either without roots or with roots. So anyway, I'll put that up there. So you put your wire together and you twist it. Now, some people solder it, and you can. I soldered the bottom of this only because it's really sort of heavy wire and I want to make a big tree out of it and everything else. So, but you know, you can solder it, and you can solder the bottom just to hold together. I extended this up to the first branch because the first branch was a little bit dicky and looked loose, so I just put a bit of solder in there to hold it up there. And anyway, I usually make some roots first, and doesn't matter if it's roots or branches. I sort of look at them and go, yeah, these two are opposite each other, and I twist them together, and I always try to do opposite ones. This sort of ties them all in. So, and it's great, and you can solder the roots too. That one I'll do. And just twist it all up. Excuse me. I usually try to go the same way, often don't, but twist them all up. Now, with the roots, when you twist them up, don't go all the way to the end, because, you know, like branches, you know, roots get smaller and smaller, so I usually leave them out like that. And that allows me to sit them on the layout and look at them, walk away, look at them, and stuff like that. So keep twisting, twist, and you can make it as long as you want the trunk. So then I'll decide to put in a branch, take two bits of wire, those two look pretty good, and try to take them from opposite sides, so again they tie in. Okay, so, and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, and then after you got your branch, right, keep twisting up the top. So eventually you end up with something that looks like a skeleton of a tree. And again, leave some branches at the end, wire single and stuff like that, and if you run out a bit, put it there. If you run out of wire and you want to make it bigger, get some of the same gauge, twist it up, and just solder it in on a V in the tree, and it'll look all right. And keep going and keep going and keep going all the way up. So after I've gone to that point, next point is my mix, and without a word of lie, this has been in this container 12 months, 18 months. Right? Dipping and painting. Now, if you're making little trees, you can dip it in, pull it out, give it a shake. Okay? All this in here is water-based caulking compound with water and a little bit of paint in it. You can use brown. I used a yellowy colour. And coat it and dip it in. Wait till it dries. If it's not thick enough or you want a little bit thicker, dump it again, give it a bit of shake. If you're using bigger trees, what you can do is get an old paintbrush, and I do say an old one or a cheap one, and you can paint it. Right, I usually do one side of the tree and go to the other side of the tree and keep going up until you get your tree. Now, here's a big one I finished earlier. I'll just take it out of the oven. Anyway, so, as you can see, it's all covered in cork. Why do I like doing trees like this? And I'll use this little one. I can plant it, hot glue it, silicon, whatever. With the roots, you can hang them over rocks, you can put them on top of the ground so it looks like the roots growing out of the ground. But what I find that I like about this a lot is that I can bend it into any shape, you know, and I love that. If I go to put it on my layout and it's up against a wall, I can bend it, they're up against the wall. So that's why I like this thing, this style. I have used plaster, but it dries hard, and as a result, it breaks. But anyway, time to cover your tree. I use polyfiber. Similar to the stuff they use in fish tanks. As a matter of fact, the only thing wrong with the ones you use in fish tank, it's white. But you can spray paint it. I've spray painted this. It's a little darker. I just spray painted a bunch of it black, iggly-piggly, so it's sort of multicoloured. So then you're going to put it on the branch there. This is the top of the tree when the tree's like this. So what I do is I put a bit of glue, bit of glue. What glue? Hot glue. PVA, I usually use PVA that's starting to dry out so it's a little bit thicker, or super glue. Make your pad. This stuff's beautiful. It's so like that. And you just put it over the pad with the glue on it, and I try to just sort of see if I can catch a thread on the wire. And it stays there like that. This tree hasn't got any, I'll turn around, anything on it here. No glue at the moment, but you know, it's great. Another thing I like about it is they're so flexible that even with the fan on, they move a bit. Gives a bit of a dimension to your layout, especially if they're bigger. And you know, the guys who know me know that I'm doing OM30, which is O gauge on HO track. So it's great. Now, when you got the poly on top where you want it, you can leave it like it is, which is great. Look, there you are, left as it is. And this is when I took off my last layout. Leave it like it is. Look how flexible they are. I can bend those branches down. Looks at an older tree. Bring that one over the top. Bend it over. It's great. Okay? But once you've dipped it in the caulking solution and everything's fine, you know, you can paint them. And I just use acrylic paint. I don't know where I put my tray. I've usually got a takeaway container with some on it. There you are. Okay, and a paintbrush, and basically just run it up. Don't paint it all in. Trees aren't the same colour all the way up. You know, these are gum trees from Australia. Our koalas live in some of these. So paint them, put them on. Okay. Once you got the scrim on, the polyfiber, right? This has got polyfiber. You can spray it with spray glue, again PVC paint, glue, and dip it in fine scatter. Or you can use rough scatter. I haven't got any here. Here's one without roots. Plonk. Plonk it in. There you are. There it's done. So, there's a hole I've got to fill. But it's great. And these are so flexible. So you can do whatever you want, basically. And it doesn't crack. You put it near a house, you can bend it over the roof of the house. Near a train line, you can bend it back up so the trains can get under without getting caught on it. And they look so damn good. I've used some on my backdrop in previous videos. It's great. I made all my trees, and I would have had about 100 or something trees here that I've made. And I made little ones, I've made big ones. This is my favourite system for making them, namely because I love to be able to sit them up, right, and bend them. You can bend them so they sit. We'll lower that branch down a bit. There you are. Sits there. I can put it on a layout, I can put it on a rock, walk back, have a look, say yes, that looks good, or it doesn't, and rip it down. I know I flew through it, and thank you for watching. Any questions, just leave me a message and I'll try to answer them. And that's all. Thank you very much for your time.